Okay. All right, everyone, why don't we get started? Thank you for being with us. Good evening. Welcome to the virtual public meeting for the I-495 at Medical Center Drive Interchange Project. Thank you for attending. My name is Joe Harrison, and I am with the MDOT State Highway Administration Public Involvement Section. I will serve as moderator this evening. My job will be to help the meeting run as smoothly as possible. MDOTSHA, in collaboration with Prince George's County, is studying ways to reconstruct the Medical Center Drive interchange, which is exit 16 on the Capitol Beltway in Largo. Prince George's County has identified the adjacent Largo Town Center as an important growth area for major medical facilities, as well as residential, mixed use, and retail development. The Medical Center Drive interchange needs major improvements to support the current and future development in the area. Tonight, the project team will summarize its work so far. The team has assembled traffic and environmental data and has developed several preliminary improvement concepts. We will answer your questions and encourage any comments that will inform the team as it moves forward. Next slide, please. Several quick points about the meeting. Written questions can be submitted at any time using the Q&A box, and the project team will address them after the presentation. More details on that in a few minutes. Please note that closed captioning and subtitles are available. You can enable closed captioning by clicking the icon containing the letters CC in the bottom right corner of your screen. We also want you to know this meeting is being recorded and will be available for viewing on the Medical Center Drive project portal page on the MDOTSHA website. Finally, we ask that if you are attending the meeting by phone, please remain muted to limit background noise. Next slide, let's quickly go over the agenda. We'll have brief opening remarks and introductions, and then we'll have a presentation from the team about the project, which we expect will last about 25 minutes. At that point, we'll open it up for written questions that you can submit during the meeting, as well as questions we have already received. I would now like to turn it over to Derek Gunn, who is acting district engineer for MDOTSHA District 3, which includes Prince George's County. Derek?
Thank you, Joe. Good evening again, and thank you for joining us this evening for the I-495 at Medical Center Drive Interchange Project discussion. We appreciate your time and interest in this important project and look forward to a great conversation tonight. My name is Derek Gunn. I am the acting district engineer for the Maryland Department of Transportation State Highway Administration, District 3 office. As a brief overview, District 3 oversees the state-owned or maintained roadways in Prince George's and Montgomery counties. In addition to our MDOTSHA project team, with us this evening from the District 3 team is Peter Campanidis, our Assistant District Engineer of Traffic for Prince George's County. We'd also like to thank for their continued support and recognize at this time our elected officials who have joined us this evening. Throughout tonight's meeting, we would like to provide each an opportunity to share remarks and to address the project in the Q&A box. We will share your remarks or questions immediately. At this time, I will turn the meeting over to Eric Marabello, MDOTSHA Director for Office of Highway Development.
Thank you, Derek, and thank you to all that are attending tonight. My name is Eric Marabello. I am the Director of the Office of Highway Development. My office is located at MDOTSHA headquarters in Baltimore, and my office is responsible for the project management and design for the project. As the project progresses through the planning and preliminary design phase, my project management and design team will be utilizing the feedback from this meeting and concepts developed in planning to design a project that will be advertised to the contracting community and delivered back to Derek and his staff in District 3 to oversee in construction. I would like to introduce the project management and design team and the planning team that will be presenting tonight. As I introduce, if the planning team or the designers and project management team can turn on their cameras. Ms. Lindsay Bobian, Project SHA Project Manager for the project. Ms. Jamie Frank, Consultant Project Manager for the project. Mr. Jeremy Beck, Planning Manager, the Office of Planning and Preliminary Engineering. Ms. Kirby Amarella, Consultant Environmental Manager for the Office of Planning and Preliminary Engineering. Mr. Andy Smith, who's our Consultant NEPA Manager and a presenter tonight. Mr. Ken Briggs is our Consultant Lead Highway Designer and a presenter tonight. Mr. Scott Holcomb, Consultant Lead Traffic Manager and a presenter tonight. Once again, thank you for taking the time to attend tonight, and we look forward to your comments and feedback. I would like to turn the presentation over to Mr. Andy Smith.
Thank you, Eric. The Medical Center Drive interchange is located at exit 16, formerly Arena Drive, off I-95, 495, also known as the Capital Beltway in Largo, Prince George's County. East of Maryland 202, Medical Center Drive becomes Lake Arbor Way. West of I-495, Medical Center Drive becomes Bishop Peoples Drive at Bright Seat Road. The interchange was originally constructed in 1997 and only opened during major events at what is now FedEx Field. The interchange was then opened to full-time traffic in 2009. The interchange improvement appears in Maryland Department of Transportation fiscal year 2023 to 2028 draft Consolidated Transportation Program and is cited in Prince George's County 2022 Transportation Priority Letter to the Maryland Department of Transportation. The purpose of the interchange improvement is to accommodate increasing traffic volumes associated with current and future growth, in addition to improving pedestrian and bicycle connectivity. The needs related to addressing the purpose of the project include future congestion, economic development, intermodal connectivity, and safety. The next few slides will present addresses each of these needs individually. And with that, I'd like to turn the presentation over to Scott Holcomb.
Okay, thank you, Andy. In support of this project, the project team this past spring performed traffic counts at the area interchanges and intersections throughout the project area along Medical Center Drive, Maryland 214, Maryland 202, Bright Seat Road, and the Capital Beltway. On the slide that we're looking at now, for the 4 intersections that are within and closest to the interchange that we are studying, we are showing the traffic volumes for each of the movements at those intersections for the AM peak hour and for the PM peak hour for each of the movements at those locations. With this information, one of the things that we do is we rate the intersections for level of service. Level of service, the criteria are shown on the bottom right part of the slide. As you can see, we grade intersections A through F, with A through C basically indicating stable traffic flow, with A experiencing little to no congestion, and level of service C demonstrating only moderate congestion. Below that, we have level service D, E, and F, which have increasingly larger amounts of congestion, larger amounts of delay, and unstable traffic flow. On the slide, if you look on each corner of the boxes by each intersection, we have letter grades showing the morning rush hour and the evening rush hour levels of service for the traffic that was recorded out there in 2022. As you can see, currently, most of the intersections through this area are level service C and better. Next slide, please. Also, to support this project, because of the nearness of the FedEx Field facility located just west of the interchange, we also have been conducting Sunday game day counts for before and after events at the stadium. The traffic volumes for those same 4 intersections we talked about in the previous slide are shown for the traffic entering the stadium before the game and leaving the stadium after the game. And again, we graded those with the level of service criteria of A through C, and for each of those intersections. Next slide, please. Also, an important part of the project is developing future traffic forecasts to determine what conditions will be 20, 25 years down the road, so that when we're developing our alternatives, we can develop them properly to make sure we're handling all the expected traffic. We did have performed preliminary traffic forecast for the year 2045 for this study area. And for those same 4 intersections, you can see the traffic volumes again for the morning and evening rush hours for the different movements within the intersection. And if you look at the level of service boxes for each, you can see with the increased congestion and traffic expected for the corridor, we're getting intersections that are, instead of level service A through C, level service D through F. So with a lot of the expansion or development in the area that's planned that Andy will be talking about next, we're expecting heavier traffic volumes and more congestion if we don't do any improvements. And next slide, please. Also, as part of the effort, we are taking a look at the safety for the corridor, taking a look at the types of crashes that have been occurring along Medical Center Drive over the past 5 years. And on this slide, we are showing the different types of crashes that were especially notable for Medical Center Drive within the study area. Next slide, please. And I will turn it back over to Andy to talk about the economic development in the area.
Thank you, Scott. The Largo Town Center is undergoing robust economic development, including new residential, mixed-use residential, office, governmental, and retail development. Some of the development includes the recently completed University of Maryland Capital Region Medical Center that was completed in October of 2020. The current construction of the Ella at Carillon Medical Space, redevelopment along the Washington Metro Blue Line corridor, and the potential for long-term redevelopment at FedEx Field. Next slide, please. Redevelopment along the Washington Metro Blue Line corridor has received significant support from both Prince George's County and the state of Maryland, with the goal of creating a dense, multimodal sports and entertainment corridor. Improving capacity at the interchange will not only help maintain mobility within the study area, but will provide an intermodal link for vehicles, pedestrians, and bicycles connecting to the Blue Line corridor stations. Next slide, please. So at this point, I would like to turn the presentation over to Ken Briggs that's going to review the preliminary alternative concepts that have been developed to date. Ken?
Thanks, Andy. I'm going to, as Andy said, be discussing the 3 preliminary alternative concepts that we've developed this far. And just keep in mind, after the presentation, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions about these alternatives or present or provide any suggestions that you may have. Shown on the aerial photograph slide is the existing interchange, which is situated between the Maryland 202 interchange to the north and the Maryland 214 interchange to the south. West of the interchange is FedEx Field, and near the southeast quadrant of the interchange is the L at Carolina Medical Complex that is currently under construction and the recently constructed University of Maryland Capital Region Medical Center. The existing Medical Center Drive Bridge is two lanes in each direction with a continuous center left turn lane to access the interchange ramps. And an existing 10-foot shared use path is located along the eastbound Medical Center Drive. The first interchange concept that I want to present is a traditional diamond interchange concept. This interchange would entail expanding the existing diamond interchange to provide increased ramp and intersection capacity and widen the Medical Center Drive Bridge. The existing diamond configuration is composed of one-way diagonal ramp in each quadrant, allowing free flow to traffic to and from the Capitol Beltway using intersections on Medical Center Drive. The traditional diamond configuration is most effective in areas of light to moderate traffic. The typical section for the traditional diamond bridge structure proposes two separate Medical Center Drive structures, one for eastbound traffic and one for westbound, utilizing the existing bridge for westbound and constructing a new bridge to the south for the eastbound traffic, accommodating 11 lanes that include 3 through lanes in the eastbound and westbound directions, 3 left turn lanes in the westbound direction to southbound Capitol Beltway, and 2 eastbound left turn lanes to northbound Capitol Beltway. The new bridge would provide a median to help separate traffic and include a 12-foot pedestrian and bicycle shared use path along the eastbound Medical Center Drive. The next concept that I want to go over is the divergent diamond interchange, or DDI. Benefits of a DDI include the elimination of signalized left-hand turn lanes, which provide vehicles free flow access to and from interchange ramps, which significantly reduces intersection delays. The DDI is especially effective accommodating heavy left turn movements and operates with a simple 2-phase traffic signals. The DDI also has potential for improving motorist safety due to the reduced number of vehicle conflict points, such as eliminating left-hand turns at the traffic signals. Under this concept, eastbound and westbound Medical Center Drive cross over at the 2 signals located prior to the bridge, which allows vehicles free flow access on and off the northbound and southbound Capitol Beltway ramps. Traffic would then cross back over at the signal located on the opposite side of the bridge. The typical section for this option includes 2 separate Medical Center Drive structures, one for eastbound traffic and one for westbound. Eastbound Medical Center Drive would use the existing bridge and accommodate 3 through lanes and 1 left turn lane for access onto the Capitol Beltway on-ramp. It would also include a 10-foot shared use pedestrian and bicycle trail. The new westbound structure would accommodate 2 through lanes, 1 combined through and left turn lane, and 1 left turn lane to southbound I-495 on-ramp. The DDI has fewer conflict points than a traditional diamond interchange, improving safety. The third concept that I want to present tonight is a single point urban interchange, sometimes referred to as a SPUI interchange. All SPUI movements, including left turns, are contained at one intersection at the center of the bridge over the Capitol Beltway, instead of 2 intersections at either side of the bridge like the DDI or traditional diamond interchanges. This will allow opposing left turns to proceed simultaneously and traffic to turn right without stopping. This would also reduce the number of signal phases and permit more vehicles to travel safely through the intersection. The typical section for the SPUI alternative includes existing Medical Center Bridge that would be used to maintain traffic during construction and then demolished and replaced with a new structure. Westbound Medical Center Drive would include 5 lanes, including 3 through and 2 left turn lanes. Eastbound Medical Center Drive would include 3 through lanes and a 12-foot shared use pedestrian and bicycle path. The typical section would also include an 8-foot median and a buffer space for the traffic equipment associated with the SPUI interchange. The SPUI also has fewer conflict points than a traditional diamond, improving safety. At this point, I'd like to turn it back to Andy to discuss the project schedule.
Thank you, Ken. Shown on this slide is the project schedule. This evening's virtual public meeting is being held to receive important public input regarding the project needs and preliminary alternatives. This meeting would be followed by a public meeting in either spring or summer of next year, 2023, to present MDOTSHA's preferred alternative. Federal Highway Administration approval of the project's NEPA documentation and proposed access changes to the interstate system is anticipated by fall 2023. The completion of design of right-of-way activities, if things go smoothly, is targeted for winter of 2025 and 2026, with the interchange potentially open to traffic by fall 2030. At this point, I would like to turn the presentation over to Ms. Judith DeVeste.
Thank you, Andy. My name is Judith DeVeste. I serve as the Title VI Manager for MDOTSHA. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 provides that no person shall, on the grounds of race, color, national origin, sex, English proficiency, or disability, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any program or activity. Title VI gives the public assurance that agency services and resources will be allocated fairly and any negative transportation impacts shared equally. Title VI provides opportunities for public participation in decision-making without regard to race, color, or national origin, including populations with limited English. If you feel that MDOTSHA is not meeting the expectations of Title VI and would like to either file a complaint or seek assistance, please contact me by phone at 410-545-0404 or by email at sha title6@mdot.maryland.gov. I'll now pass the presentation back to Joe.
Thank you. Before we move to questions, let's take 2 minutes to talk about meeting logistics. Terry Maxwell is with MDOTSHA Public Involvement. Terry?
Thanks, Joe, and thank you to our attendees for joining this evening online and on the phone. I'd like to cover a few quick tips on how you can participate tonight. As Joe noted, all participants will remain muted throughout the meeting to help with background noise. We will have several ways for you to provide input during and after the meeting. One way to do this is when we open for questions and comments, online users can use the Q&A box to type in your question or comment. To locate the Q&A, please look on the right side of your screen, likely toward the bottom, to locate a box where you can type a question or a comment. With many attendees tonight, the Q&A box will be helpful in tracking the comments and questions coming in and will help our moderator direct them to our panel of project team members. Users have the choice to post their question or comment anonymously by checking the provided box. You may also find some helpful information posted in the Q&A box, such as the project website and contact information. Next slide, please. Another way to provide input for those using the call-in option only and who do not have access to the Q&A box is to visit the online comment form on the project webpage after the meeting so we can make sure we receive your comments and concerns as well. To get to the online comment form, go to roads.maryland.gov, spelled out, and click on Projects to access the I-95, I-495 at Medical Center Drive Interchange project listed under District 3, Prince George's County, in MDOTSHA's project portal. We will share this comment form location information again throughout the meeting. So thank you, and at this point, I'll turn it back over to Joe.
Thank you, Terry. We promised to end the meeting no later than 8 o'clock, but if we run out of project-related questions or discussion, we may conclude sooner. Let's now move on to community questions and comments. We have received written questions and comments from a number of people on the project portal page. We'll address many of them throughout tonight's meeting. We'll also address questions submitted tonight using the Q&A box, as Terry described. specific, but it's very important. Why? The question is, why does the interchange need to be reconstructed? Who can address that question? Pretty basic question about really the the major purpose of the project itself.
Joe, I can answer that. This is Jamie Frank, the consultant project manager for MDOTSHA. So, as it was stated earlier, this interchange was originally constructed in 1997 and was only opened during football games and major events at what is now FedEx Field. The interchange was then opened full-time in 2009, but since then, Largo Town Center and the surrounding area has seen increased new development and it has planned future development. So the new interchange is crucial to the area's vision and development as noted in Prince George's County Plan 2035. The interchange improvements would help to address that projected future congestion associated with the current and future growth, and also help in the economic development and intermodal connectivity of these surrounding areas.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Jamie, while we have you, could you discuss, please, the project limits of the project? What are the boundaries? Because that's pretty important as well.
Yeah, sure. So this project will extend from the Medical Center Drive at Shoppers Way intersection to the east, and then Medical Center Drive